Oh, Rudy, I got you. Yay. You're in Los Angeles right now doing your promotion thing. Let me give you a little intro. Rudy Maxa's one of our wonderful guests that we always love to have on. He does the show here on Sundays, which is so popular. He's been nominated for a Pulitzer. He's got many awards. One of the most listened to shows, and of course, The Savvy Traveler, very well known. But Rudy, a couple of things I want to cover with you. First of all, thank you for taking the time. We're really excited to hear you're going to be starting your own tour company. Actually, you just started your own tour company, didn't you?
I said, hey, do you arrange any tours or anything? Do you lead? And I was like, I cannot. And then I met a partner, a Norwegian guy who lives here in America. He's American now, but he comes out of Norway, and he is very involved in a lot of aviation things, particularly he owns a lot of blogs and websites for people who would advise on travel and so on, and he does once a year tour for aviation geeks of all kinds of weird things. So he's got all the licensing, all the stuff you need to do. So he said, we got to put together some tours. So we put together 3 different tours: a Scandinavian, this is for August and September, a Scandinavian tour that was, I think, is 10 days, or did an 11-day Southern Europe tour and a 15-day tour. And what we did was we took a really, really expensive tour. I won't mention a brand name on the air. And we took it apart, and we realized the markups were enormous, and we could do it for about 60% of the price.
Wow.
So we started maxatours.com, M-A-X-A tour, all one word, maxatours.com. And we're kicking it off this weekend at the LA Travel and Adventure Show. We'll have a booth there and a booth in some other ones. And the website is up, and these are very, well-priced, all 4- and 5-star hotels. My partner and I have stayed in every one of the hotels. All meals are included, every single meal, very unusual for a tour, and some very good restaurants. We have eaten in every single restaurant that our people will eat in.
Wow.
And in cities, Paris and Venice, you'll have a choice of 1 or 2 or 3 different tours. If you've been there the first time, you might want to take tour number 1. If you've been there a lot, you might want to take another one. So, and, you leave your luggage in your hotel room. It'll be in your next hotel room when you get there, so you're not schlepping things around.
Oh, I like that.
It really is.
I like that.
Really, we're trying to really put together a first-class tour with a lot of emphasis on food and culture and history, and make it interesting. I'm going to drop in on all of the tours in August and September. I'll be there about 2/3 of the time on each tour. I won't be guiding. We'll have guides in each town who know that city and that region. So anyway, so that's it. So maxatours.com, and that's it. We'll see. We'll see. I'm excited about it. We're already putting together some Christmas market tours if these succeed, but we'll see. Who knows?
Well,
anyway,
you've done a lot of these. Well, no, I'm glad you are, because you've done so many of these places. You've done shows on them. You've done TV shows. You've done radio shows, and you really know it from an insider's point of view. And a lot of the people that will want to go, we did have to mention. You might have mentioned these are very small tours. So
20 people maximum on each one, maximum.
Yeah.
10 couples.
That's the way to do it. And so for people who like to travel but want to take it to the next level, this sounds like the perfect thing. And to be able to have a chance to meet, well, you're a hero to some people, because they've heard you on the radio, they've seen you on TV. Your shows are still being shown, right?
Sure, yeah. Well, they'll get over that real fast. Oh, and by the way, in some places like, around Lake Como and so on, 6 rent-a-car will make a car available to anybody who wants. You just go out driving all around all day if you want.
I love it.
Taking a tour.
That's very unusual.
I think, is giving everybody diamond status. I mean, just
Whoa.
a lot of extra perks along with it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd say diamond status and a car. And I have never heard of anyone doing that. That's awesome.
No, I just want to put a bunch of extras in. This is the way I would like to take a tour. I get tons of tour brochures all year. And I look at them and go, oh, yeah, okay, all right, okay. And they're all pretty much the same. And again, when we found out the margins on this, we thought, God, we can slash the margin in half, still make a little money, but, really put on. Anyway, enough of that. That's enough for us. I feel like I'm doing a commercial.
No, you know what, so. Rudy, it's. I think it's a great opportunity for people, and that's why I wanted you to talk about it. But we love listening to you on the radio, but a lot of times, you're really limited on time on what you can talk about. But we also do your little minutes where you give information and stories, and we heard a story that you did on the radio, which kind of actually had my jaw dropped, because I heard you do a little story about how you were taking a trip, I believe, to Europe, and you were upgraded, as you often are, because you got a lot of miles to first class.
Yep. Yeah, and I was coming back to Europe when this happened, yeah.
Tell us the story of what happened.
I was over in the country of Georgia, and to get home, I had to fly Georgia, Istanbul, Paris, and from Paris to my hometown of Minneapolis, not my hometown, but where I live, of Minneapolis, St. Paul, I had enough miles on Delta to upgrade to the front of the cabin. And, they come around during the flight with a fruit basket for everybody in business class. And I took an apple, 2 hours into the flight, set it at my side. Then it was sort of in the way, so I threw it in the backpack thinking I'd, eat it in a couple hours. And I just forgot all about it. And I came in through customs, and I know darn well you're not to bring any fruit or vegetables or, meat that isn't shrink wrapped, all kinds of things, live plants that you're not supposed to bring into the United States from another country. And they ran my bag through the agricultural x-ray, and this guy takes my backpack, and he pulls out an apple, and he says, "What's with this apple?"
Whoa.
That exact tone of voice. I said, "Oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I got it on the flight. I forgot it." He says, "Okay." He says, "That's a $500 fine." I said, "Excuse me, $500? Well, I have global entry, that thing that allows you to... He says, "Oh, yeah, we're much tougher on global entry people."
Whoa.
Implication being, we should know better. And he said, "You can take this to court if you want, and then if you're found guilty, it'll be $1,200. I said, "I'll take the $500 option, thank you." As I said to my friends, how about them apples? That was a $500 apple. Not only that, but I've now flown 4 times domestically since then. That was 2 weeks ago. And my TSA pre has been written off my record. I don't know how long I'm in the doghouse, but a friend told me today that she had a friend who did, made the same mistake I did, and they took away her global entry and TSA pre privileges for 1 year. So I may be taking off my belt and my shoes, going through security for a year.
Rudy, this is extreme. This is like a stop-like tactic. My gosh, it's an apple. It's not like it's a gun. There's so many people that are leaving things. I just was reading about the awful things that get the TSA fined all the time.
Sure.
That go through. But this is an apple. So, I guess I would have gotten very self-righteous. I would have gotten really upset if it happened to me.
Well, when he's telling you you can go to court and pay $1,200, getting upset, you can't fight the law. You can. I have heard, and there was apparently a big brouhaha on social media last year that I think it was a woman going through Chicago had a piece of fruit, and the same thing happened to her, and they wouldn't give her back her global entry or her TSA privileges, and she took it to a congressperson, and It took them I don't know, a lot of wrangling, but she got them all back.
Well, do you think we should go?
I look that up and see if I can follow suit.
I think you should go there because, this is an honest mistake. All they have to do is take the apple and take it out. And, yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you how many people do this. This happens all the time. And I would assume...
What if you're bringing in drugs? I'd be in jail for the rest of my life, I think, given this standard.
No, I think it'd be less if it was drugs. I think they're trying to make an example out of you. Or maybe, I think this was wasn't this during the government shutdown, and maybe they hired some other help, or people were in a bad mood or something?
It was during the government shutdown. Maybe this is Rick Steve's brother. I don't know. I'm trying to get my producer for the radio show is trying to get a customs spokesman to come on the show and explain this, because I didn't have the presence of mind to go, why are you tougher on global entry? Or, I just didn't. I was so stunned. I didn't argue. I just gave him a credit card for $500.
Wow.
I thought, okay, I'm getting 500 freaking flyer miles.
And that's not even a business write-off. I don't think it's a tax write-off.
I don't think it's breaking the law.
It sounds like a business expense.
So anyway, let that be a lesson to everyone in the listening audience.
No, really, I've brought bananas back, and I didn't realize till I got home sometime, and there was a brown banana on the bottom of my backpack. And I thought, oh, my gosh, if I had got caught, that could have cost me $500. But, maybe even worse than the $500 is, you get so used to your TSA pre-check and global entry, and you're going to be doing all these trips. And so there's going to be a lot of time you spend. We get a little spoiled, don't we? My gosh.
We do. But I also paid for it too. I just re-upped my global entry and my.
That's right.
TSA pre after 5 years of global entry. I just pre-upped it. And
but
okay.
You must have some of those credit cards that give it to you free, don't you? You must.
Yes,
have.
I do.
Yeah.
I do, but still, it's U.S. It's U.S. currency handed over to the government for that privilege.
Well, I wanted that everyone. And did you didn't even say I'm Rudy Maxa, and you didn't pull your name or anything. You didn't try to get.
No, I never do that. There's a story. It's probably apocryphal, but when I lived in Washington D.C., long before I was a travel journalist, when I was a Washington Post investigative reporter, there was a story that went around to some congressman, running to the gate late, and the plane closed its door, and they wouldn't open it for him, and he said, do you know who I am? And the agent behind the counter got on the PA system and said, we have a gentleman here who doesn't know who he is. Anybody here know who he is? He doesn't know his name. So I'm not a you know who I am kind of guy. I'm just a little And I was in the wrong. I knew I shouldn't have brought an apple. I was
But
wrong.
but it was a mistake, and you know what?
Of course it was. I'm trying to smuggle
Yes.
an apple into the United States. We got apples here.
But the thing I think that's so funny about the story is it's so relatable because I think we've all done this. You know what
Yes,
happens?
And I probably have done it before too. Well, I've seen any number of times people, they just toss it in the wastebasket.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
but this guy said we're tougher on global entry people. I guess the
Well, do you
insinuation being you should know better, so we're going to punish you.
That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, that sounds kind of hostile, but I mean,
tough.
if you're a global entry person, you travel more, and there's more chance to have something happen because you're traveling a lot, and you're on the
Well,
road.
I just wish you were a customs official working that day.
I do too. So, but you've done some amazing trips this last year. I think you went to Paris a couple of times, didn't you?
Well, not this year, but last year.
Last year, yeah.
Last year I think I went 3 times. But the most amazing trip, often the most amazing trip is someplace that surprises you. And I went to a conference. I was coming back from a conference in the country of Georgia, which is down there underneath Russia.
Mm-hmm.
It's west-east, northeast, west. So the western side is on the Black Sea, and on its southern, in the belly part of the country, is Albania and Azerbaijan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of, right between Europe and Asia and the Caucasus, at the foot of the Caucasus Mountains. Well, I'd never been there. I knew it was a former Soviet, territory, and I didn't have time to really read up on it before I went. And I thought, this is going to be a place with, grim gray Soviet buildings
Mm-hmm.
and, grandmothers, on the sidewalk with their blankets spread out selling old toasters and irons, Whoa. This is a sophisticated, cool place to go. Beautiful architecture, great hotels at cheap prices. They're famous for their food.
Really?
Their wine is fabulous. They're on the same latitude as Bordeaux, and if you spend $35 on a bottle of wine, you're spending a whole lot of money. And if you go to a very fancy restaurant, and 2 of you have dinner, and it costs more than even if you get a bottle of wine for $20, if it costs more than $40, it's amazing.
Well,
I think prices are so great.
I think you need to lead a tour there. It's time for you to lead a Maxa tour there.
I definitely want to. If this tour thing works out, I will definitely structure a tour that includes Georgia. And then we went up to the Caucasus Mountains, where the skiing was amazing. The hotels were amazing. I can't believe this. All the cabs are Mercedes. Everybody's paying with contactless credit cards. They saw me put my chip in a machine, and they looked at me like I was out of the Stone Age. I said, I live in America, and we're not quite caught up yet.
Well, were there very few Americans there? Was it mostly Russian?
Very few Americans. Very few Americans. First of all, I say I go to Georgia, and everybody says Atlanta.
Yeah.
But the other thing is it's difficult to get there. There are 2 flights a week from London, but unless you can go that day and come back in the day of those 2 flights, it doesn't work. I tried all kinds of connections. I had to overnight in Istanbul, going and coming back.
That's
it's only
a
a 2-hour flight from Istanbul, but by the time you get to Istanbul, there are no more flights that evening to get in.
Uh-huh.
And coming out, I came out in the afternoon. There are no more, most European flights from Istanbul leave in the morning. I left the next morning on a 6 o'clock flight to Paris. Then I got on my fated Paris flight with the apple. Where I got the apple, I should say.
Well, I can tell people if they go to maxatours.com, they can find out some amazing tours, and they will never, if you take these tours, you will be checked before you leave your hotel for any extra apples.
I'm going to go through your luggage and make sure you don't have any apples.
Yeah, you'll be apple
we have
safe.
A day-by-day itinerary for the Scandinavian tour and the 2 Southern European tours. And I think if you read them closely and see your options, again, in the major cities, I said, we have different flavor tours, with local guides.
Sounds great.
Or you can just take a 6-car and drive around in some of the cities.
I know you're
There's really nothing to pay for. We pay for everything.
I love it.
All meals.
Wow. Maxatours.com.
So,
and that's Maxatours with an S.
I'm sorry?
Maxatours.com.
MAXAtours.com, all one word.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Well, definitely. And I'm so happy that you were able to call in, and I know you're in the middle of the LA whole busy stuff there, doing your promo thing, and don't be afraid to hawk it because it's a great idea, Rudy.
Well, thanks.
And it's always fun talking to you. It really is. We love your show, and you got to do one of the tours to Maui so we can take you around here too.
Now we're talking, especially because it's raining and cold here. What's the deal? I left the Minnesota snows 2 days ago, and I come here and it's not snowing.
It's rainy.
It's
rainy here, and there's been snow on Haleakala. tons of snow.
That's okay. The snow up in the mountains is okay. But
Yes, it is.
raining?
It's
I'm
been
so
raining for days. I know. So what can you do? But at least it's not freezing. But it's raining. So anyway, dear,
There you go.
wonderful talking to you. Have a wonderful time there, and we'll be talking more about you. Hopefully, when you get those tours going, we want to hear back about how they're going. Okay.
I hope it works out. Thank you so much.
Okay. Aloha.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Aloha. Bye-bye.